So, in the last class, we had a discussion about the SLS. Today, we have a topic called priority lookup and this assignment lookup rules. How we can see. See here. So, whenever if I open an instance, so this impact and urgency. If you change impact and urgency, this priority is automatically changing. So, for example, if I give priority medium low, so it was changing, or if both are low, it should be changing. So if it is a one field, we can make a field dependency and we can make a changes. That means like for example, see, depending upon the category and subcategory. So that means what are the category we have selected and the respective subcategories will be visible. But here what happened, depending upon the impact and urgency, we are setting the field is called priority, and that should be read only. That's a different story, but we are setting the value. How we can achieve this one and how we can, in the service now we have a rules called lookup rules. There is a data definite definition so priority lookup rules. Before that, here we have called data lookup definition. So in the data lookup definition, what we will call it as a, we will do the definition for the same. That means if we open priority lookup, if you open this one, see priority lookup and which table we have to use. See, priority lookup and Wusum. Source table is nothing but, and which table uh, we are taking the input. Input is nothing but, and which table, since it is an incident, from the incident table we are taking the input. So incident table here it is a source table. And the next one is matcher table. What is a matcher table? Matcher table is nothing but the priority taker. That means from which table we need to get the data. That's a thing. So that's a priority data lookup rule. The table is DL underscore U underscore priority, and the application is global. Since it is a global application, we can do the global. And next one is active true. If it is active true, then only it will apply. So if I open incidents, see, if I open here, if I made a active is false, and here if I change it, so if I reload, so if I made a inactive is false, so that the changes will not be applied. See, if both were high, then priority should automatically set to the critical. But since it is not high, so it is now, since we have disabled this one, active is false, so it will not apply. So if you make a changes and save it, so if you want to do the same thing, I'm just going to reload this page. So if both were high, and then priority automatically set it to the critical here. This should be the same thing. Now, next one, run on form change. So forget about the form. So for first thing, run on insert. Run on insert is nothing but whenever if you are freshly creating, that means the incident which we are creating, insert is nothing but incident is if you are creating first time. That's whenever you are creating a record, so at that time we want to apply. So for example, if I am going to make a false this one, so what I am going to do is so what I have done is here run on insert is false and I saved it. So if I change this one, it will not be applied by here. See, I will. If I save this, oh my god, priorities, I have not saved it. Oh my god. Since here if you have a run on form change, so it will be happened here. So I'm just going to run on form change and insert is false. Let's see what it happens. So this is the new one. See, I'm just taking color as a avail tutor. Services SAP. See, if I changes this, it will not apply well. But since I have given the run on form change also false, so it will not be applicable to same thing. So now I'm just going to save this one. This is the one. Now if I go to the run on, if I see if now see I'm just changing to low and high, then see now the priority changes. Why? Because here run on update is true. That means whenever if the record is going to save, then this will be update on the same thing here. So run on form change is nothing but whenever if you make a changes, immediately it will happen. Run on insert is nothing but whenever if you're inserting the record, it will be creating. Run on update, whenever if you are creating, if the record is updating, that's not the first time. Already created record, if the updated, it will update. The mostly the best practice are always we should follow the active is true and run on form change is true, run on insert is true, and run on update is true. So this is the completely strictly, and we need to follow the same thing for it. So this is the basic thing. Right now what we have done is we just configured which when it should be executed. Like I'm sorry, like run on form change, run on insert, and run on update. These is the things we can configure the same. Now the next step, matcher field, setter field. This is the one of the most common asked entry question. What are the matcher fields? What are the setter fields? Matcher fields is nothing but from which fields we are taking the input. Like if you say in an incident, we are taking the input from the impact and the urgency. So those two fields we will call it as a what we can see is those two fields we will call it as a impact and urgency, impact and urgency. So in the source field is nothing but which is a incident table. In the incident table, which table we need to take it, that means from the incident table which field we are taking the input, that is called impact. And matcher field, and what is a matcher is nothing but here we have seen, right, dl underscore u underscore priority, which is a priority data lookup table. That is the matcher table. From that also in impact as to we can take it, and urgency. So we are saying that the system from these two fields you should get the input from the one. That means depending upon this table you need to do the same thing. And the next step is the setter field is nothing but which field we need to set up, which means here in the setter field what we have done is I'm sorry. So setter field, which is a priority, so that means in the priority in the in the source field the name is priority, and in the matcher field also it should be the priority for the same thing, so that we can do the same thing here. So this is the matcher field and setter field. Since it is already configured, I'm just showing this one. This is the one of the most common asked interview question. So you interviewer may ask what are the matcher fields, what are the setter fields. Matcher fields is nothing but from which fields we are taking the inputs, those fields is will called as a matcher field. Setter field is nothing but from which field we need to get the what you called so we need to get the what you can say, we need to get the out setting value, that is output, that will called as a setter field, which field we need to set the value. This is the matcher field and setter field, and how we can run on a form change and on insert and update. So this is the basic thing. Till now I think we got it. Any confusion or anything? This is the very important when you come to the IDSM, incident management implementer. This is the when we can implement the incident module. So now, till now, what we have configured, what do we have configured? What is a source table? What is a matcher table? And when we need to run it, like a run on form change or run on insert or run on update, and those two. And next one is the matcher fields. Matcher fields is nothing but what are the fields we need to take the input, and setter field, what is the field we need to take it. This is the basic thing. And next step, but we need to configure for which table as to which data has to display. So here this is the priority. See, this is the table dl underscore u underscore priority. Wherever we have given the priority lookup, the table is this one. If you open the priority lookup, dl underscore u underscore priority. See, so from here we will get the data here. See, we are configure here. If the incident is high, impact is high, urgency is critical, we have configured the same thing. Now that means, see, it's a, for example, if the incident is high. So before that I'm just going to, I'm just exporting as an XML file. I will tell you what is the advantage for this one. See, I'm just going to, so now what I'm going to do is, if the priority is critical, high, I'm just making as a planning. Now if I open an incident, try to reload, both is high. See, if the both is high, it should be set as a planning. So what we have, for example, if we give not planning, if you give any other different value, see, so I'm just giving as a moderate. That means if the impact is high, urgency is high, which is a moderate. So now I'm just going to reload this. So no need to save. I, I. See, if you change any other one, it will be automatically change it. So if both are high, it should be moderate. Like that, whatever we need to set up, we can configure here. The best practice, this we can alter it, or that means if you add any new choices in impact and urgency, we can add the same thing for here. So, so or else, for example, oh my god, okay, I will close this one. So I'm just going here. See, I'm just going for all one. I'm just control and right click and dragging there. If you use the total, we can control right click. If you drag, so we can all the fields we can at a time we can set it. So for example, I'm just going to set it as a planning for each and every one. That means if you take any value, it will come as a planning. See, if I open an incident, I'm just going to reload. I high, it is coming as a planning. So that means if you give any value, since in the system what we have given as a planning, so that we can do the same thing. Here we have order. So there is a one field called order. If you make it inactive, if you make it inactive, what happens? So this will not be apply the same thing. If you make a order, what is the order? If the both the fields has the same order, then what it will do is the order. The order is nothing but how I can say. So if the both have same thing, but if you want to execute the first one, so the lowest order, for example, both the I mean, if you give first one is a high is a critical and high is a moderate. So which one has to execute first? So lowest order which you are giving will be execute the first. That's the reason we'll give order, but 100% we will not make any changes. So now why I have download this one? If I import this one, right click, import XML, import file and downloads, priority and upload. So earlier these are all values are whatever we have done earlier, whatever it was all the prior one, we have a priorities, we have changed to planning, but right now we have changed it to the different one. It will be the same which we have configured. It will be here. This is the data lookup for the same thing. How we can configure the data lookup. So if you want to, for example, if you had a new choices in the priority, so for example, okay, I'm just going to the incident. So I'm just going here, configure. I'm just adding one more choice here. Okay, that's okay. We can go for the from here. We can configure it. Right click, configure choices. So high medium. Since it is an incident, we can configure. Or else, if you want to any task, we can configure here. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just adding it in the task level. High, medium, low, and so I'm just going to add 4, very low. So I'm just adding a one choice called very low and update. See, the choice is visible. Some similarly, I'm just going to add a urgency and also so urgency also will apply the same thing here. See, this is a choice we have, and in the priority also we are adding one more choice. Here we just adding here for the one. So for the incident we don't have anything. So in the task, what happened? I'm just going to create a new choice which is called as a about to plan. So I'm just adding one more choice, which is a sixth one, six hyphen about to plan. or I'm just making a draft. Okay, I'm just adding a choice called draft. So 6. Here also I'm just giving a sequence as 6. So now in this one, what we have configured a new choice called very low for the impact and urgency, and draft for the priority. Let's see how it will apply. Now, what happened? So now, if you see, the impact is very low and urgency is very low, but still it is moderate. Why? Because for this priority, what we have given the default value is moderate. If you see here the dictionary, if you see here, it's a dictionary. So the default value. So for example, if I open here, see here, they have given as a default value as 4. So what are the default value 4 for here? Low. I'm sorry, for this one task, right? Task table. For the task, it was 4 by default. But why it is coming as a moderate? Mm, let's check dictionary override. See, they use the dictionary override. The default value what they have given as a 5, which is a planning for it. But right now, whatever we want to, we can make the changes for the incident module. So now, the next tip was in the priority data lookup rule. So we have to write a combination. If the impact is very low and urgency is high, then it is a draft. So what we need to set it very low and it should be a planning. So we need to configure it. Like that, we need to check each and every configuration. Each and every configuration is nothing but so each and every configuration is nothing but I'm sorry. See what again very low and high planning. So if I open an incident module, very low and high. So what you have given is here? Is it what you have given here? Oh my god, it's also we are given the planning. So I will make this just to a draft. Okay, I will open this one. See, it will be changed. Like that, you can configure the permutations and combinations. Like impact is very low and urgency is all other option. And urgency is high. You can give the all other options. And if the impact and urgency very is low, so what we have to do, like that, you can configure the each and everything later that I can give you as a task for you. So like this, we can configure the priority data lookup in the here. So I hope you got it or any confusion. Well, sorry. Because in the real time, what happened, the depending upon the customer requirement, what we will do is we will configure the priorities in the choice window. Like they can give as a they will not use high, low, medium or something. They want to their own specific. Whatever they have own specific, depending upon that one, we can configure. Here it was. This is a when you go to the incident module, the priority will take a very minor major role. So depending upon the priority, we need to configure SLAs. we need to respond it, and how we need to resolve it as per the one. So everything should be depending upon this priority data lookup rule is a very simple module, but it will take a very important role when come to the implementation of the incident module. And not only for incident, for any ITSM, the priority see that even we saw that depending upon our priorities, we will work accordingly. Whether it should be personal or it should be a professional. So what is the first we need? First we can give the prioritize it was high priority. So later we can go to the next priority item. We can do the same thing. This is the very important. This take a very simple one, but it will take a very vital role for the same thing for you. Okay. So this is the basic thing about the one. These are all comes under incident ITSM implementation. So I'm not taking any specific in the module. We can take the other incident module. Now this is the one fine. So you have seen whenever if you are working something, if you raise a complaint in the Flipkart, for example, if you open an incident in for example, they will ask what is the type of issue. It should be offer related, it should be product related, it should be payment related, or it should be some XYZ related. But if it is a payment related, it will auto assign to the payment team. If it is a offer related, it should assign to the something. If it is related to IT, it should be related to the IT team. If it is a product related, it should go to the product team. That means depending upon the which the category user has selected, it was automatically routing to the user, not routing, automatic routing to the group. That means if an incident is created, it was not assigned to any group. Somebody has to work on manually. That means uh, if the user, what we have to do is so for example, if I open a new, so here in the assignment data lookup rule, we can configure depending upon the what is the user. So I'm just going to, if the category is software, I'm just assigning it to the software group. So if I have made a this one and if I save this, whenever if I'm going to write and create an incident, okay, this is no incident able. See, if I give as a software, then it will automatically assign to the software team. And if I save it, so that what happens, so right now it was mandatory, the user will fill it. But if that is not a mandatory, so if the user is create an incident, it will automatically assign to the software team. So the software team manager or group manager will or lead will look into it. He will assign to the concerned person, so that the manual effort what was the doing for the assigning the incident to the man group to the by manually, it will be reduced in the sense it will be closed for the same thing for it. So like that, so we can configure. For example, if I'm going to same thing, okay, assignment lookup. So we saved it. Now again, I'm just going to assignment lookup rules. So I'm just going here again. I'm just going to here. If the category is software and maybe the software, what is the category? So here this is not a dependency. So hardware, I'm just going to hardware and CPU. For example, you want to particularly the category was say hardware and subcategory was software and configuration I'm not giving and location we are not getting, then it should assign to the hardware group. And here the field dependency will not work. So what I am going to do is okay, so you can give it as a hardware. So we can give any particular user. So Bentangle. Okay. So if you give directly to the Bentangle, so that it will be do the same thing. So now here, So I'm opening this one now. Let's see what are they have given. The category was software, sorry, hardware, and subcategory was CPU. Then it was auto assigned to the which user. It has to go to the hardware group and Beth Anglin, who is the one. So now caller able tutor, and it was hardware. So if you give the hardware, it will not auto assign. So the software, whatever we have given CPU, if you give the CPU, so what are the assignment rule values we have given, the hardware and the Mendanglin, it will come here. Though the service, I'm just giving a SAP. And also, there is a one drawback here. It's not a drawback. What happens whenever if you create, whenever if you are creating the incident is first time, it will apply. So for example, if you change the to software, so it will not apply, which means whenever if the category was changing here, then only it will be apply for the same thing here. So which means whenever, so the first time, for example, if you change this category, it will not work. Whenever the insert record is inserting, that will once it is set up one time. After that, if you configure any changes, it doesn't be it doesn't affect. So for example, if you see, again we'll go here, table. If it is software, it will assign to the software team. But if you change it to hardware, it doesn't change it. It will apply only one time. Once it is applied, that is assignment rule is applied. So no other assignment rule will be applicable to the same thing. So this is the we are not sure it's a drawback. This is the standard functionality which was configured by the ServiceNow in the system. This is the assignment lookup rule. You got it or any confusion? Very good. So like this, we can configure the assignments for the ServiceNow in the one. So basically, what happens in the ServiceNow, we can write. This is not. So this is the different one. Okay, this is a different one. We know this is it. I will tell later. So, like that, we can write the assignment lookup rules for the same thing here. We can configure the data lookup and other thing. So, this lookup rules will be the very important when come to the ITSM, because the user will raise an incident from his end. So, at the time he will select a category. Once he select a category, depending upon the category, it will auto assign to the concerned group, so that what happens, the incident will be auto assigned to the one, so it will reduce the manual effort. The team lead will check whether it is incident, he will assign to the correct person, that means who is available or who can resolve the incident. It will be reduce a lot of manual effort to the user. Okay. This is the basics and standard thing about the assignment lookup and data lookup. Kindly, these two concepts you understood, right? This is the very important for the ITSM implementation, incident model especially. So very good. So that's the topic for today. Now, please note down the task. In the impact and urgency, added two new choices. Any new choices is completely your wish. Any two you can give it. And priority also you can add two choices. Okay. And next, in that priority, in the impact, if you add a one choice, one choice, you can give all the choices in the urgency, and configure it a new priority what you have given, like of the combinations and combinations you can do it. Like for example, if the impact is very low, urgency is high, what is the priority we need to set it? That means impact is low and urgency is very low. Then what is the we have to set it? Like that you can check all the you can configure all these combinations, and you can check for the incident what is happening on form insert, and on record, on sorry on for run on form change, run on insert, run on update, what is happening. So like this, you can check this one if you complete this one, so that for the data lookup rule and priority lookup, so you will not get any issues and you will be 100% confident about this one. You have to complete this task. I hope you got it the task right or any confusion. Next step, so define, so for each and every, go to the incident module. In the incident, for the inquiry, antivirus or email internal application, for if the incident category was this one and it is end-to-end inquiry, you should assign to the one assignment group. And if it is a email, you should go to the one assignment, you can configure. And if it is internal application, it should assign to the another assignment group. That is a configure, you can do it. And the next one is software and email and operating system. Like this, each and every category and subcategory combination, you can write assignment lookup rules, so and check whether it is a auto assign to the correct one or not. Or if you want in the assignment lookup, you can add here also, like what is a configuration item, what is the location directly, so that it will like check all, fill all these fields and check which user it was auto assigning. Okay. So if you complete this task, you will be very clear about data lookup and assignment lookup rules. So the basic about the 50% of the incident model implementation is completed. You got it or any confusion? Very good. So this is the basic step about the one. So you clear, you have any queries for previous topics? What you done SLS in the last class? Okay.